So in a software or system architecture, we have different components that are organized and structured in order to communicate with each other to produce a final product. Now, this product can be a mobile application, a desktop application, or a simple website. So that's the textbook definition. As for me personally, it's very abstract. It can be anything. So I've built so many projects that involved so many different components. Sometimes it's different blocks of code, sometimes it's different servers or different blocks of code sitting on different servers. An example of this is a website that I'm currently building and maintaining. I only have 2 subdomains, and on each subdomain I have different blocks of code that do different things. Now you might look at it and think, but they're all on the same server, so obviously communication between these blocks of code should be very easy. That's where things get a bit more complicated, in that on one domain I have WordPress installed, and then on the other domain I have Laravel installed. So on the WordPress side, I serve the website to the public. Anybody can visit the website and see whatever we have going on. And then at the same time, I have custom plugins that I've built that serve the API routes to do things such as testing, automation, and then sometimes I want to delete everything without having to do the manual select and delete all. And then on the other domain I have other routes such as login, since this is my admin dashboard domain. So I have routes such as login, I have routes such as logout, authenticate, and all of that. So I'll start with the WordPress domain. So on the WordPress domain, the hosting service that I got is called Webway. They were called vHost I think 2 months ago, and then they changed to Webway. So on Webway, the cheapest plan, I think it's 65 Rand for the 1 gig plan. So I got that, I think, and then I installed WordPress. So now with WordPress installed, the first plugin that I got was the JWT authentication for WordPress REST API. So I don't know if you know about REST APIs. You can just take a look on the internet about that, or you can just ask ChatGPT. So the reason I got that is for authentication. So for all the custom routes that I'll be building, I need authentication, I need security to make sure that only my external applications are allowed to request information from this server. So with that being said, let me show you how I added my own custom plugins to WordPress. So at the top of your plugin, you have to have your plugin name, your description, the version, the author, of which I just added my own name, and then I have everything inside of a class because I just believe in object-oriented programming. So since I have everything inside of a class, I have the construct method, which constructs our class, and then inside that method I have a lot of hooks, a lot of WordPress hooks, which allow me to do different things, right? So the first one that I'll speak about is the one that adds the custom routes. So the hook's name is called add action, and it takes in the action that is supposed to be executed, and then also the callback function, which is supposed to be executed, I think. So the reason I have it in square brackets is because this is inside a class, so I have to put a reference to the class and then the method within the class, right? So the method that we will be referring to is register custom routes. I won't be speaking too much about this because it just does the basic CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, and delete. So I have a route that allows me to insert data, to get data, to search through the database for data, get data based on a specific ID, or delete data based on a specific ID as well. So on this subdomain, this is the admin dashboard. This is where we will be uploading the data. Where we get the data is a very tricky question because I know how to scrape data from different sources. So in this instance, without telling you too much, let's just say we get the data from ABC, right? So we get the data from ABC, we load it into the admin dashboard, and then inside the admin dashboard I have a function. Okay, let me just tell you. So we're loading HTML files, and I have a function, sorry, not a function, a library. I think it's called, I'll put the name here. So that library allows me to parse HTML files and get data basically from any HTML element that I want. So let's say, for example, I have the title inside of a h1 tag, and the ID of that h1 tag is title. So I can directly target that h1 tag and get whatever information that I want, whether it's the title itself, which is the inner HTML or inner text, or any attributes that are associated with the tag. So once I get all of the information that I need from each HTML file, all of that data is pushed into an array, and then this array is then converted into text. I first convert it into a base64 text, and then I send it over back to WordPress. And inside WordPress, remember, we have the JWT authentication, so we have to set authentication inside our headers properly so that data can be received on the other end. And once it's received, it is then decoded, and I think it's parsed to produce a JSON string, a JSON object. And then we can then iterate through that array and get all of the data that we need, and then we can just push it into WordPress, and the user will see the new data as if, somebody uploaded the data, but it's all automated.